this day, I'm still walking around with the same pain on me. It's a fate that's worse than death. Trust me. It's the only way to get to the top.
Tariq, how is she?
You go see for yourself.
How's the baby? Is he okay?
Whoever took him from me is gonna pay. Bottom line.
Who was it? We will not stop until we get this guy.
Dirty copy of Diana B.
What? If you're in some kind of danger, I need to know.
I'm not Ghost. I can fix whatever problem I'm in.
What makes you think you can trust Davis or Tariq?
I don't trust either of them.
We're all at risk now.
Always about blood. I'm about to make a move.
He's smart. He's strategic.
Ain't nobody going with me.
What's good, YouTube? I want to welcome you guys back to another episode of the Mr. Power Podcast. I believe this is episode 7 or 8. I don't know. To be honest, I've kind of lost count. We'll see in the caption. Look, this week's episode was really good. A lot going on. Got some announcements. Before I get into it, your boy Mr. Power Universe is going to have a podcast with your boy MovieBot. You know what I'm saying? Talked to him, reached out to him on YouTube, told him to hit him in the DMs. So we should be having something coming soon. Also doing a podcast with my boy, Express Your Entity from TikTok. You guys probably know him as well. So we lining some shit up, man. We moving with this podcast, right? I always say that yes, power is obviously the basis of my podcast, but long term, don't expect this shit to just be only power content. I'm going to expand to different topics, whether it be shows, whether it be life, whether it be money, business, finances. The goal is not just power. The goal is to make this podcast for everything, so I could talk about any and everything I want to get into, right? So obviously, right, we're 2 episodes into the second half of the season. It's going by really fast, man. Like I keep telling y'all, appreciate this shit. Appreciate these episodes. Appreciate the experience of waiting for the episodes to come out, right? And appreciate the fact that there's been no leaks. Because if there's no leaks, imagine there's a leak happens and you watch all the episodes. But now you're done. Now the show's over. You know, you have nothing to look forward to anymore. So I'm really happy that there hasn't been any leaks. And the fact that we get to just experience the show when it comes out. We don't have to get fucking leaked out everything. That's not cool. I don't enjoy that shit. Yeah, it's cool to watch the leaks, but like when you've been watching this show for as long as I have, and a lot of you guys have been watching since day one, you don't want it to be screwed and ruined up by someone leaking the show. So, you know, episode 7 was called I Can't Fix This, right? And I spoke about this on my TikTok about the parallels between this episode and season 4 of Power. I believe it was episode 10, where it was called You Can't Fix This. And this was pretty much like about the St. Patrick family, right? This was the episode where, you know, the aftermath of Raina's death, where Tariq, you know, was pretty much on the hunt for Ray Ray, and so were Ghost and Tommy. Everybody was on the hunt for Ray Ray, right? And we know that Tariq was able to get to Ray Ray first and enact his revenge, right? And this episode had a lot of very, very much similarities from the OG Power, where I told you, I was like, Diana's going to catch her first body, just like Tariq did, right? Because everyone kept telling Diana, I don't know if y'all guys noticed this was a trend, they kept saying like, I'ma handle it, I'ma fix it, I'ma fix it. Tariq is like, yo, I'ma handle it. Monet's like, oh, I'ma handle it. Drew's like, oh, I'ma handle it. Kay's like, oh, I'ma handle it. Well, all of that is discouraging for Diana, considering that they didn't make any moves, they didn't do anything, they weren't able to do shit. So she was like, fuck it, I'm gonna take that shit into my own hands and go do it myself. And that's exactly what Tariq did too. And both kills were sloppy, whether talking about Tariq's or Diana's. It was a very sloppy kill, and it was a sloppy way to go about things, but we understand why it needed to happen. And I told y'all a while ago, I told y'all that Detective Felicia Lewis, whatever the fuck her name is, because we don't care, we don't put respect on her name. I told y'all she was gonna die. And this is one of the things about Power that pisses me off, is like, once we seen her kicking up on Diana like that, knew the baby was gonna die way before that. But once we seen Felicia Lewis kicking up on Diana like that, it was a direct confirmation that this baby will die. And that's one of the things that frustrates a lot of Power fans, is we feel like they foreshadow way too much. Like, they need to do less foreshadowing and less exclusives and trailers and more just storytelling, right? So we know that episode pretty much picked off with Diana in the hospital. We found out right away that the baby didn't make it. You seen Diana in distress. Tariq trying to talk to her like, yo, I'm sorry, I should have been there for you, but I'm going to be here for you now. And I'm like, well, what do you mean you're going to be there for her now? For what purpose? The baby's dead. The baby's gone. Like, what purpose do you have to be in a situationship with her? She tried to kill your mom. Like, did you forget that? Right? That's one of the things about the storyline that kind of pissed me off. Where I'm like, Tariq, did you just forget all the history that you have with Diane and all the things she's done to you? Like, you're just going to throw that away because the baby died? And you're just going to be cool with her again? Nah. I feel like they're trying to force this Diana and Tariq relationship. I ain't fucking with it, y'all. Right? And then we have, obviously, Monet pulls up to the hospital and Kane right after that. And it's pretty much a theme of everybody telling Diana the same thing. Like, they're apologizing. They're like, yo, we want to fix this. We want to help you. But Diana's like, there's nothing you can fucking do. I got to put this into my own hands, right? So we also have, we have that little scene with Tariq and Braden and that Stokely dude. Whack ass scene, right? We thought it was going to be an all out brawl battle. Turns out they just had a little scuffle. They told him to leave, right? But pretty much in that scene, we saw that Stokely found out that they was moving drugs on campus, right? And he was like, yo, we don't know if we got fans or fiends. We cutting y'all off. And, Tariq was very upset about that because that's how they run their business on Stansfield or whatever, do these concerts and on the campuses and different stuff like that. That's how they make their money. So that's pretty much the gold mine gone right there, right? And I believe that we will be seeing Elle's character again sometime in the near future. We haven't seen her since the mid-season finale for whatever reason. I guess, we'll see more of her later. They're saving that storyline for later. We know she's probably going to get, right? But that's a video for another time, right? So now Tariq and Braden are, talking, and Tariq's pretty much like, yo, the baby's gone. Dirty Cop beat her up, B. Like, I gotta get my revenge. And Braden's pretty much like, yo, bro, you need to calm down. You need to talk to somebody that you trust, right? You need to get your head right. And Tariq starts thinking like, oh, okay, I know just the person. Tasha St. Patrick, right? We see the return of Tasha St. Patrick. Tariq goes and sees her and, gets some insight. And Tasha's pretty much telling him like, yo, the baby would have been hope. Like, that would have been the only beacon of hope that's gone now. I understand why you want revenge, but you need to be smart about your actions, right? Remember that you're not just doing this for Diana. You lost the baby too. Like, Tariq is acting like he's just doing this for anybody else. Like, bro, that was your kid too. You know what I mean? And you could tell that hurt him. And that was one of the first times in a long time where we've seen Tariq just be emotional. I mean, open the scene, we see tears about to come out of his eyes. I mean, it was real, right? It was real. We knew, like I said, I've said a million fucking times, like a broken record. I've been saying to y'all, the baby wasn't going to make it. It was never going to happen. Like, the baby was never going to have a future. And I don't know why people thought that it would. Right. So, then we kind of flip over to Detective Carter and his task force. And it's just a very interesting storyline because we see Detective Carter talking to Rashad Tate, right? And we know Rashad Tate's pissed. He's like, bro, whoever killed my brother is going to fucking pay. Bottom line. Like, he makes it very, very clear. You know what I'm saying? And I think that foreshadows maybe something that we see later, right? And Detective Don Carter, as we expected him to, lies and he blames it on the Russians and said that he's working on it. He can't discuss an active investigation and all the typical bullshit that you would hear from a cop, when they did some dirty shit, right? And he's like, yeah, I'm going to handle it. I'm going to make sure, I get it done. And Tate is like, yo, as soon as you find this nigga, like, you need to call me first before you do anything, right? We know that Detective Don Carter didn't do that, right? He killed one of the Russians or whoever the dude was, framed him, put the gun in his hands, and told Rashad Tate, like, yo, we done with it. And I think Rashad Tate, it seemed like to a lot of people that he was like cool with it, but the way I read the scene, it seemed like Rashad Tate was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna just let this slide. I'm gonna investigate on my own. Like, I don't think he's buying what Detective Don Carter is selling, because even if you peep like Nico, the Nico dude who was working with Detective Don Carter, even he was like sus about the shit that Don Carter was doing. He was like, yo, bro, like, this don't really make no sense. Like, why would the Russians kill Tate? Like, why would they come after him? It's just not adding up. Even the Felicia Lewis cop peeped that too. And Detective Don Carter was really trying to protect her for whatever reason, but she made too many moves, and even Monet pulled up on her, on Detective Don Carter. He was like, yo, she beat up my daughter and made her lose the baby. Like, we need to enact revenge. Like, you got to let me take her out. And Detective Don Carter's as usual, he's like, yo, fuck you. Like, nigga, I'm running this shit. You're not about to do nothing to my task force. Like, I'm gonna handle it how I see fit. And Monet warns him, like, okay, fuck you, nigga. Like, we're gonna get our get back, right? So, Tariq's on the move. He's hitting up Davis like, yo, I need to know these cops' locations, blah, blah, blah. I need to know now. Meanwhile, Diana's on the move, like, trying to make her own moves, right? She's looking. And then on the other side, you have Kane, Braden, and Effie, a combination I thought we'd never see, right? Pretty much going in and on a mission to, bring it to a police officer's house and get these files from the laptop. And I think this is a very important storyline for the Detective Don Carter and his task force, because they were pretty much able to get proof that Detective Don Carter's task force is dirty and how they've been skimping money from raves and different things like that. So they have leverage. Everyone's kind of talking about this whole footage of Tariq killing Zion. And I'm like, bro, first of all, that shit is inadmissible. The whole Zion situation of him working with the feds and him getting killed off was just illegal in and of itself. So the idea that they're going to bag Tariq for that shit, when Tariq can just spill all the noise about the Detective Don Carter's task force and how dirty they are, like, he's fine, right? He's fine. So they go out and they get the mission done, right? They get the mission done. They get these files. They're able to get it done, right? Meanwhile, Diana, she's still looking, right? We got your boy Drew. Drew was still in jail, and he had another mission to do, right? Which pretty much was trying to get him more leverage. But hey, you know how it was. He got the mission done, but he gets out, and Don Carter's like, yo, like, you're not in a position to negotiate with me, but you are special because you did get the job done. And he's like, yo, he wants to know who the plug is, who the connect is. We know it's Noma, right? But he doesn't know that because Monet lied to him. Well, Drew's like, fuck it. He gives all the answers. He's like, yo, Monet, pretty much lied. Like, yo, Noma is the real one who's running all of this shit, right? He's been the connect. Noma's been the connect that Don Carter's been trying to piece together the whole time. He's been trying to figure out, like, who's the top dog in New York right now? Who's the running shit? And it's been Noma, right? So, on the way for them to go, pull up to Felicia Carter's house, or Felicia, whatever the fuck her name was, because she's that unforgettable. Diana went and made the kill, right? Diana went and made the kill. She got emotional and she just acted, right? She just acted. Understandable, she lost her baby. She wanted to get the get back, but it wasn't the smartest decision to make, in my opinion. Her kid was in the house. And this is one of the things that Power Book 2 Ghost does. It really just pisses people off. It's like, these storylines just don't make sense. So they kill off Felicia Carter. Cool. But the kid's in the house. Tariq pulls up to that same house. The kid sees him and Diana. Then Monet pulls up. Then Drew and Carter pull up. Like, how unrealistic is this? Right? And then this is when we get the storyline with Drew, Carter, Don Carter, all of them. And he's pretty much in the room, like, with the straps on all of them. And he's like, yo, all of y'all are working for me now. Tariq, welcome to the fucking team, nigga. Like, you're in this shit too. I got footage of you killing Zion. You're at the scene of the crime. You're at the scene of this crime. You're done for, right? You're done for. And I really, really think that that whole scene really just made me think, like, yo, Carter's definitely gonna die. Because Carter's not only making enemies with these, he's making enemies with everybody. And eventually he's going to be a problem for Noma as well once she finds out. And I've kind of been saying this for a minute. I believe that everyone is going to team up against Detective Don Carter. I feel like this is going to be a situation like with Thanos. I don't know if you guys ever watched the Marvel Universe, where like every one of the Avengers ganged up to team up to kill Thanos. Like, that's how powerful he was. Well, that's how powerful Don Carter is. And they're all going to have to team up, to take him out. But I do feel like once they team up to take him out, they're just going to have war amongst themselves. We know how power is, right? When people work together, it's only temporary before they turn enemies again. So I think that everyone will be on the same page temporarily in terms of taking out Don Carter. But once it comes to like finishing him off and he's done with, well, you still got Noma, you still got, Tariq and the Tejadas, and everyone's going to be at war. Everyone's going to be fighting. I think it'll be a crazy ending. So I am happy that the way they ended episode 7, it was pretty good. I just felt like there was some unrealistic stuff that they could have just left out. Like, they didn't have to make her kid be at home. Like, that was so fucking dumb. And then they leave and they hands all over, touching everything, just hot, right? But it was a really good episode. I was really pleased. And I had to come and make this video, obviously. I do think that they're moving in the right direction. I always say, like, Power, when it comes to episodes 8, 9, and 10, those are always the wildest episodes, y'all. 8, 9, and 10 is when things get really crazy. So I think these next 3 episodes, we might see a couple major deaths. I mean, not really major, but like I could see Elle dying, and I do see Drew dying eventually. I just feel like his character is just like moving hot. He's making enemies now. You know what I'm saying? He snitched on his family. You know, Kane might be pissed off about that. He might make a move. We know that Kane and Drew are going to be competing for the streets eventually. You know, probably the next episode, actually is going to be competing for the streets. You know, we've seen it in the episode description. So it's going to get wild. It's going to get wild, and I want you guys to brace yourselves, because I think these last 3 episodes are going to be extremely emotional, heart-wrenching, and I do think we're going to get some twists and turns that we didn't expect. So stay locked in. I'm going to keep making the content here, TikTok, Instagram. Make sure you guys tap in and follow my Instagram. Make sure you guys follow my Instagram at Mr. Power Universe. Make sure you guys follow the YouTube, of course, at Mr. Power Universe, and make sure you guys follow the TikTok at Mr. Power Universe. We also just hit 75,000 today on TikTok, so thank you guys. It's only been 6 months. I started this content shit in March, and I've been growing on all platforms. So YouTube is next. That's what we're trying to take over. Appreciate y'all. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Till next time, I see you guys for episode 8, baby. Let's go.